Dandelion song, and I think I'm ready to show you Philadelphia. Looks like a mess right here, so I'm going to start again over here. So this word actually turns out to be really beautiful. I'm gonna do it in two chunks. PHILA, which I'll show you all of the breakdowns. This is 16, 8, 9, 12, and 1. So this would be the center, the core. This is 13. This is why they name, this is why black athletes that are in the game that have been inducted have LA in their name, because this is, it's 13. Has to do with 1313, Mickey Mouse, on and on and on. It's like the 13 Club. And they are not respecting the black athletes when they do that. That's not nice. And so the black athletes, you guys, I mean, I know you don't care what I think, but shouldn't play with those people. They're not your friends. Okay, so this, here we have this 14. We know this is half of 28. We know 28 is an important number, but when we add this to the 9, it's 23. So that's going to be, where am I? Okay, that's going to be 36. 36 is a very interesting number, because if I just watched the Code of 9 video by, I think his name is Joe Dubs, and I hope I remember to put these video links underneath when I say I'm going to. Hope I remember to do that. Anyway, when you take the seed of life geometry, and it has 4 of these. It has 4 spheres. These are all, let's see, so that's 1, 2, 3. And then it goes, oh yeah, and then this one goes like this, that one goes like this, and then you probably can't see that one. Anyway, there's 8 of these. And these are the numbers, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And there's not a 9, but this all adds up to 36. And he shows in this vector mathematics of 9 that every axis here is a 9. So this is, I like to know this more, because mostly when I see the 36, I just say, okay, that's the triplet of 666, blah blah blah, kind of boring. But I just, from watching that video, I discovered there's a lot of depth to 36. And it does, you know, add to 9, and it is the 369 of the Tesla secret of the universe. Not only that, but there's a repeating 3-6 pattern in the Fibonacci series, especially when you take the digital root of the Fibonacci series, and I think that's really meaningful. You know, it's an alternating pattern, and then you know, of course, the sums of all of the digital roots of the Fibonacci series for infinity sum to 9. Summing the digital roots. Okay, so you already reduce it to the root, and then you sum, say you sum the first 12 and the second 12, and those would all add to 9, but then there would be a repeating 3-3-6 pattern in there. So this to me really fills out more on the number 36. That it's the 1 through 8. It does not, in this seed of life pattern, it's the 1 through 8. Without including the 9, but it includes the 9 in every axis, while adding to 9, but not having the 9 in the original group. Magical numbers, right? Well, so if we were going to draw, you know, the hieroglyph just of this part, what we would do is I would start with the kind of taking my cue from the shapes of the letters. You can draw these hieroglyphs different ways, but this is a very famous, you know, oh, I drew it wrong. Don't look through the phone, Dandelion, come on. Okay, so this is the Chiro, and it's a famous Vatican symbol, and it symbolizes Orion, but it also is the PH, or the PH came from the Chiro. So to finish turning this into the H, it's kind of like the same H that I drew on the hieroglyph of the, where this is your H, and then this shows you your infinite loop of time. And you can even make this like an hourglass. Okay, so you see the pH now. And that's 14. That's half of the full rotation of the sun cycle. And then in this loop, I think that this is where the I goes. The I is the core of this word, so I would like to put it in the center. The center's kind of busy here, so I'm not sure exactly where to put it, but it should be in the center. Like on the Truman Show, they always have Truman with his head behind the X. So that's where it should go. Let me get this to focus. Okay, so maybe I'll just draw it like, I don't know. Maybe I'll draw it like this. There's your I. Because if I draw it that way, it's going to cover up the P. Okay. I could also draw it like this. P with the I in it. That's that. And then this is the hourglass that goes that way. This is the I. This is the ego self caught in the infinite loop of time. And it's also Orion. That's the source of the DNA. So many things, right? Okay, well then we have the L and the A. What is that all about? This is what I think it's about. The V is the 14.4 degrees on either side. Sorry, 14.4, 14.4, that's the symbolism of the V. And I believe the A is a 33. So we'll leave the capstone there like they have it. Draw this out. And then this is the L. And it's supposed to be, you know, this is a, you know, the Freemason symbol, you know, it's supposed to be correct measurement and correct behavior. You know, seeing with an advanced eye coupled with correct behavior. This is not supposed to be an ominous sign. This is supposed to be a sign of goodness, and then usually it has the way in between it. This is the G7, okay? But this is supposed to be the golden rule. This is supposed to be the idea of rulers are not supposed to be like tyrants. They're supposed to treat their subjects how they would want to be treated themselves. So that's the idea of this, and it got, you know, of course, wrecked. But here's where I'm going to put it on our hieroglyph. I'm going to put the A there. And we'll leave the capstone on. It's supposed to be a 33. And then put this here. Now, I just want to mention that in the Maurice Cottrell books about ancient Mayan and Lord Pecal's and Vera Koch's artwork that's in their tombs, they have what is called transformer codes. I mean, those guys were smart. They knew how they made jade artwork that if you make transparent overlays of it, and I don't know how they did that. I must have done it with mirrors. Of course, they had, you know, space ports and everything else, so they weren't really primitive, but they made transformer codes. And in their transformer codes, they have, and I was shocked, they have the 33-degree compass, and they have the golden rule. Shocking, right? They also have the sun gate, which is the big O, and, you know, many other amazing things. And maybe I'll do a back to the books on that. Okay, so here's your PHILA. Let's just write it here so we don't get too lost on the strangeness of this drawing. So it has your Orion, which is pointing to the star. Orion points to the star of Ra. First of all, it points to the Pleiades. Maybe that's why they have a P here. Orion points to the Pleiades, and the Pleiades points to the star of Ra. So it is kind of interesting because our pyramids and our obelisks are designed to point to the star of Ra. So actually, that kind of means that I did this right, because the Orion points to the Pleiades, points to the star of Ra. You could even put a little I in here, like the dollar bill. And then the cross here, the cross of Orion, you know, in the constellation is also the H, and it's also the X, and it's the infinite loop of time. It's the 8, and we have the individual. I'll just draw a little circle around and try not to wreck this. The individual is in the loop of time, and this is the domain right here of the living, and this is one of these turns is being born, and one of these turns one of these turns is living, and one of these turns is recharging, getting ready for your next cycle. I'll go into that another time. Okay. Then we have Delphia. Let's go to Delphi. Now, I was really sleepy and I did a bunch of wrong math on this and confused myself quite completely. Where am I? Over here. Okay. So, Ed is a 9. And, whoops. Okay, that's a 9. And then, this is very interesting because this is a 12, and anything that you add the 9 to, it stays the same. Like the digital root of this is a 3, add the 9 to the 12 and it's a 21. So this whole thing is a 21, and that still has a digital root of 3. So this right here, this is why this is in the word Delaware, and this is why this is in some words that matter, because look at the beautiful math here. It's beautiful, you have to admit. It's almost like it's in motion. The mirrors and the palindromes are in motion as it comes through, and I think it means the. It's really nice. And then it is like the is a 33, but this is like a 33 over digital root over 2 degrees of gematria, because this is the first degree and then this is the second degree. I mean, yeah, that's what I think. I think that's how I can say that. Okay, right. Then you have the pH. And so again, we have the 16. So we actually have the word phi in both of these, right? Did I mention that? Phi, and that's this. I don't want to mess up my hieroglyph. Okay, this is the 8, and that's the 9. So we have another phi here. Double phi. It's like a phi gate. You know how we see all of these gates? And look at this. This is a phi gate. Phi, and then in between you would have LA and DEL. These are 2 articles. One of them's feminine. Is that, am I right? I'm kind of doing this. Whoops. Point the camera at the pen. Okay. I'm doing this on the fly here. Okay. So this is a phi gate for male and female. Now it seems like an afterthought that they put an A over here again, and if you look at the numbers, this is a 21, and this is the 23, right? Because it's the 14 plus the 9. So right from just here, I like to do this all in different chunks. Just from here to here is 44. We know that this number, I don't know what it meant in Greek, but you know, maybe Delphi was you know, the oracle. You know, you hear about that. Maybe, you know, it's contacting the dead. In our modern usage, it seems like the Illuminati uses this to mean kill, and that's how our language was designed, for this to be kill. And then they add an A on at the end. Now, I just listened to the podcast of Illuminatus Observer, and he talks about the rule of, there's a code rule. The rule of Colel. And what time am I at? Ooh, 14. Okay, I'm going to try to do another different video on the rule of Colel, but it's also in the Illuminatus Observer's his podcast. If you go to his page, it has all his podcasts on it. It's in there, the rule of Colel, and what it means is adding or taking away 1 doesn't matter. That would mean that the 44, this is the 8, right? And with the A, it's the 9. And the rule of Colel means that these are similar. So also the 44 would be the same as the 45. And the way that he explains it is that 366 is very similar in the codes, just basically equal to 365. I'm really sorry for not aiming the camera here. So that's the rule of Colel. So they put this as an afterthought here. Okay, well, so this whole thing adds up to 45, and that's a big 9, and we just talked a lot about the 9 up here. Oh yeah, with the seed of life, and then in the book, in the video Code of 9, it talks about how 9 embodies all numbers, the singularity and nothing all at once, convergence and divergence. Really amazing. Okay, so here we are. We're going to try to make a picture here of phi, and I really kind of wished I had a better phi in this one. Maybe here's the phi. Like, you see the phi, it has the P coming out the top, it has the I in the middle, and that's the phi in this word. It's in the middle, like, but actually in this word it's in the beginning. Okay, well, here we have, so let's just, you know, in Philadelphia on the map looks like this, and it has Delaware. Oh no, I'm gonna make, nope, not this, I'm gonna run out of room for my hieroglyph. Anyway, Delaware is the line that goes through Philadelphia and divides it into 2 pieces. And ISIS is there. It's a big party. I mean, I think everybody should leave who wants to see all the ruckus that's going to happen. If you want to see the ruckus, you need to leave Philadelphia. If you just, you know, waste some money by leaving and nothing happens, then I think that's okay. All right, well, so, okay, making the hieroglyph. So this is phi. I'm just going to write the word here. And then we have on this side, like, say, you know how I say that you have your secondary, your potential, it's almost like your valence field on your, like, say this was an atom or an electron and this was the nucleus, and then you have your electrons out here, like these are your uncollapsed potentials, right? Say that's an atom or a particle. You would have your del here and your A over here. So this is a 21 and this is a 22. So wait, I mean, this is a 1 which makes a 22. So then we find out, oh, that's why they went ahead and put the A on there. They're like, this one needs, we're not going to reference our ham number. Ham equals 22, as in Abraham, as in he was instructed to breed the slaves for the Anunnaki. He was instructed to breed the royals. They are slaves, you know, everybody's jealous of them, but they are slaves. Car is another 22 word, and this points to the parasitic nature of what's really going on here. The royals ride in a carriage. This is fractal echoes in both directions. The royals ride in a carriage. Watch, I'm going to draw a carriage. I'm not going to draw a dragon horse pulling it though. Here, we'll make the royal look really silly because he thinks he's pretty important, but he's really a slave. Okay, so here we go. You like the picture? There's your carriage, because that's what this comes from. They didn't have cars in the old days when they made this language. And I should look at the word carriage. But anyway, so this car is a zombie. It can't think for itself. It follows. It's frozen. And it has a parasite in it. The parasite here is the royal. Well, if we take this to the next fractal echo, these are concepts of fractals. Fractals, you're used to thinking of fractals as numbers. This is a fractal concept. So then we have the royal. Doink, 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 doink. He's got a hat on. He's got some fancy shoes. This guy has a serpent within. Oh, can I draw a better serpent, please? Let's put horns on the little serpent. It's probably It could be physically within him. I think that's what Lupercalia is about, infecting people with parasites that come from dogs, and they cause you to be hive-minded. And you will notice that Illuminati and you know, just matrix type of people are hive-minded. These guys are hive-minded. The parasite, that's why dogs live in packs. They're basically hives. They're loyal to the hive. And this is why dogs are loyal to your family. People are loyal to their dogs because they all have the same parasites, and their parasites are steering everybody's behavior to keep the parasites alive. Okay, we're paying attention. We have this fractal concept here. This is going to explain why the royals act like this. They have a parasite within. They are a ham. They are an edible slave. The parasites eat the vehicle. That's a little bit of thing that's different. Humans don't eat the carriage. Ham has to do with food. Car has to do with parasite. So anyway, this is a vehicle. For this. We see this. Oops. Putting the horns on him. There he goes. He rides around in here, just like in Stargate. And that's why these guys all work together. That's why they really don't have a lot of freedom of choice. They're not free. Alicia Keys, her video, her song, This Girl's on Fire, I decoded that, didn't make a video. There's tons of codes, tons and tons of codes in there. And I'm going to go back and look at that because I understand a little bit more now. But anyway, she's an ally of the CIA. That's Jesuit. And she is Key. And I think that Key reduces to 22. Let me check. Nope, it's not going to. I don't know. Maybe it might. Let's see. So this is 16. Nope, it's 31. Let's try it with the 9. The 19. Yeah, it's 50. Okay, I thought it... Anyway, she's a key vehicle. She's a key ally of the CIA. And then we have Raw thrown in there for good measure. All right, so that's my whole car thing. That's why they have the 22. Okay, this is why the 22 is that's why they put the A on the end here to make the 22 with the 21, which was the palindrome through the addition of the 9 here. This is a great word, del. Okay, so this is why we have the 22. So we have the del. Maybe I'll make them like this, and that is the 22. So at the core you have the phi. 1.6, where's my number? 1.61815. And then in here you have the ham or the slave. Okay. All right. So here's one part of your some eyelash on here. One part of the hieroglyph, and here is the other part. Philadelphia. Okay, it's going to get weirder. We're not actually done. Okay, so let's remember this part, because this is kind of a simplified hieroglyph of the whole thing. Philadelphia with the la and the del in between here. The del and the la, and then it looks like we do have another A. I'm not sure where to put the other A here. I'll just put it in the corner just to remind myself I didn't find a place for it. But here's the thing that's going to be weird. Since we have two phi's, let's square that. Let's say that that's squaring, right? Maybe when we have syllables, maybe that means that we're supposed to multiply. You know, I'm kind of learning this as we go along. So we're going to square this. So I did this before, and I think I did this on another video too. This is 2, 6, 1, 8, 40. I'm going to circle that. 9, 4, 2, 3. And we will notice that this remains the same. These digits remain the same, and I'm going to cube it and see if it remains the same too. I haven't done that yet. But what we do want to see here is this is the dome with the four corners of the earth. Okay, that's your dome. The 40, and each corner has a 10 on it, which is the both orientations of the pentacle. And then here we have a make sure I wrote this right. Yeah, I did. Here we have a really beautiful, depending on how you look at numbers, if you think this is beautiful or not. You have your 923. I'm going to do that. And you have your 924. Okay, that goes there. And then you also have a 7, and you have an 11. You see all that? So that's all of those dates are in the phi squared. And then you would just add, so if you have your phi squared, then the only thing that's left over here, you know, if you want to show that you understand the squaring, is that you would have an LA, which is 13, and the DEL, which is 21, plus the extra A, which makes this a 22. And altogether this is a 35. Oh my gosh, that's the number of the eye. So what you could do is, if you're going to make a hieroglyph that shows all the squaring, you could take, you know, I don't know, maybe make it eye-shaped. Amazing, right? Do you think? Crazy. Somebody, you know, the insiders must know this, you know? I just kind of figured this out on my own. I'm on this channel where this information seems to come in. Practical information, you know, like remembering what I need to buy at the store, that doesn't come in. So this channel must be reserved for this kind of thing. Alright, well, anyway, that's the page I'm on. This is what I got for you today. Since Philadelphia is back in the news, I am going to take a look at those new headlines. And as I just looked at two of the words so far, the gematria, the code of, you know, what CNN puts up there, and it looks like it's a coded event. So I am going to take a look at that. And if it's interesting, or if I can figure out what's going on, I'll let you know. Okay, love you guys. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon.